So I made a video a little while back about the Monstera and how I was trying to get it to produce more holes in the leaves. So I'll give you an update and show you the ones that I've been keeping outside and how they've been getting on. And as a result of wanting such big holy leaves, I managed to manifest this one. You know, if you just ask for something, ask the universe and it will provide. Well, actually, a friend of mine didn't want it anymore. And I was around there like a rat up a drain pipe when I found out that she didn't want it. But now it's so big that actually it needs repotting and needs a fair bit of pruning too. So I'm going to take it outside and do that. And I haven't really got a pot that I want to put it in. The pot that I do have that's big enough, really not much of a fan of it, but it's going to have to do for now because I'm going to get tons of cuttings out of it. So I'll put some of them into some vases and that sort of thing. They'll look cool around the house. And I'll show you how I get on. Like I said, not much of a fan of this pot, but it's nice and heavy. It's quite big, so it will do the trick of, because part of the problem is it's become really top heavy. So I'm going to take a bit of the weight out of the top, untangle a bit of where it's been tied up in here, and with some of the weight out, then separate it into maybe two pots. And take some of the cuttings by taking some of the weight out of here. Although I do want to keep the tallest part so that it's got those really big mature leaves that I might then sort of mount onto the back of a ladder in a room so that it gets huge. See, it starts to get way too big for this mushroom.
Look at all the cuttings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And just to show you, if you're interested, if you've ever wanted to do it, to take a cutting of Monstera, you just have a node which is where there's a leaf coming out, and you can see that there's an aerial root that's formed. And if you just put this into water, you can put it into like a mineral substrate like perlite or soil, but I've just found that water seems to work pretty well, so just put it into a jar. And if you have them in a spot like this by the window, the roots will actually start to get chlorophyll in them and go green, which is pretty cool too. And when you think that they wouldn't, the roots that grow in the water tend to be really, really flexible, so you can see that they could be completely filling that and you could still pull it straight out.
Makes that one seem really sad now.
So this was the one that I put outside, and it's got those lovely internal fenestrations.
Would you look at that?
And that's the new leaf. I mean, it was predetermined really, because it had gone outside before when it was already making that leaf. And I'm really pleased how this one has turned out, because now you can see the negative space in between the leaves because it's decongested from the pruning, but also because it can stand up on the newly erect pole with the but it can also stand up on the new pole that's got 2 struts in there, so it's much more stable, and there's a heavier pot so it can actually stand up. I think that does look quite a lot better, and it's a lot less top heavy. Now it's going to be able to grow a bit further up the pole, which I've just used some little supports at the bottom so that it's got like a teepee type effect and you can't really see it. The pot, I think, actually looks fine because I can put other smaller things in front of it, and the fact that the vast majority of the interest is way up in the air, you're not really looking at that ugly pot anyway. I can hate those curtains. And one of the things that I find is that if I leave something and think about whether I've got the perfect pot, I am just not really doing the job, because it's just another thing to organise, and then it would have just been dragged out 3 months later, it would have still been just leaning against the window. So yeah, I just did that because that's what I had available, and it cleared up a pot that was lying around that I didn't particularly like, but it was too good to throw away. Perhaps a relatable problem. I've got so many other things to do in the house that I think it's nice to be able to take a spontaneous break from that and use what was available so that I could do a job that I was just going to enjoy doing. Not sure whether I'm going to bother taking this one outside. It's pretty big anyway. It looks really good in the house.